everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kaylee McEnany here with my co-host Harris Faulkner. Also joining us, Fox Business anchor and host of American Dream Home on Fox Business, Cheryl Casoni. Fox News contributor and host of Tomi Lahren is Fearless on Outkick, Tomi Lahren. And Fox News contributor and former Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz. Well, we begin with a closer look at President Biden's mega donors who are bankrolling his, quote, blockbuster fundraising. That's how they're framing it. The president's reelection campaign hasn't exactly been off to a rousing start, and recent reporting suggests that Democrats are even looking for a backup candidate heading into 2024. I wonder if it's Gavin Newsom. But the Biden campaign, they're now hitting back, pointing to its latest fundraising numbers. According to his communications director, the president raised $72 million in the year's second quarter. Quote, the numbers are in, and there's no hiding the stunning and embarrassing lack of enthusiasm for the Republican candidates running for president, they claim. President Biden and Vice President Harris significantly outraised the entire GOP field last quarter, outraising Donald Trump by more than 2-1 and Ron DeSantis by more than 3-1. There are like 16 candidates or whatever it is in the Republican field. That aside, but the Biden team left out one small detail. Most of those donations, they didn't come from the middle class, but from uber-wealthy Democrat allies. Some of those donors include Hollywood mogul and Biden campaign co-chair Jeffrey Katzenberg, who gave the highest amount, nearly $900,000. LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman donated almost $700,000. Other donors include Hamilton creator Lin-Manuel Miranda, fashion designer Michael Kors, and Anna Wintour. The middle class really showing up. Jason Chaffetz, when you compare, they're out there touting this. There's a bunch of candidates in the GOP field. You add their totals together, they don't beat, Biden. They do beat Biden in the DNC. But putting that aside, this is a more relevant comparison where incumbents were in the second quarter in a year before an election year. And when you take a look at that, you're Biden in the DNC, 72 million, Trump in the RNC, 105 million. Obama and the DNC, 86 million.
And this small donor number, I think, is the barometer for enthusiasm. I think most people look at Joe Biden and think, I don't even know if he's going to be on the ticket by the end of this calendar year. And what's also stunning is when you look at the cash on hand number, Biden's right there in the mix, but barely. And he has, guess how many staff he has on his reelection campaign? 4. They're not taking this very seriously. I think they know somebody else is coming. You're running for re-election as the president. You have 4 staffers at this point. That's unbelievable.
It really is. Harris, that stuck out to me in Politico Playbook this morning. Biden's re-election campaign has said it intends to start out lean and frugal. Boy, are they putting that into practice with just 4 staffers on payroll and rent at 0. No headquarters yet. The president's campaign spent just $1.1 million. They say this is intentional, though.
All right. So Doug Schoen, who worked both for Bill and Hillary Clinton. And he knows what this feels like, to have a boss who's raising some money like Hillary Clinton, but there's no enthusiasm, particularly among women for her, for voters. He said it wasn't coming to fruition with all the money they were raising, getting the support that they needed. He projects that that's what's happening with Biden. So that's point one. Point two with this is, that just simply tells me that maybe there's something to Axios' reporting about people not wanting to work with him. I mean, if you can't get along with the staff, reportedly in the West Wing right now, where some staff members reportedly don't want to be alone in meetings with him because of his fierce temper, and that's only coming from inside the Democratic Party. I mean, Republicans aren't in those meetings.
Yeah.
So if somebody's talking to reporters, they're the people around him. So now you've got trust issues with your staff. You've got anger from the president. I mean, we don't really know all the facts because we're not sitting in that room, but you've been in the White House enough to know those rooms get pretty small if you can't get along with each other. So now you have to hire a second staff for the campaign?
Right. No, exactly. And you have staffers, Tommy, afraid to come in, saying, I need to bring a buddy in with me because they're afraid they're going to get an F-bomb thrown at them by the commander-in-chief. But when you look at cash on hand, going back to these fundraising numbers really quick, because Jason mentioned this, Trump actually has more cash on hand, $22.5 million. Tim Scott, $21.1 million. Biden is in third at $20.1 million. So when you look at cash on hand, I mean, Trump and Scott have more to spend.
They do, and Ron DeSantis has also had really impressive fundraising totals in the second quarter as well. But I think going back to what Jason said, I don't think that this election in 2024 is going to be about high-dollar donors. I think it is going to be about the enthusiasm of the grassroots level. And I think this is going to feel a lot more like 2016 when, of course, Trump did so well, because it's going to be people that are upset with the direction of this country. They want to change. They're looking at Joe Biden. They're thinking he's not serious. They're thinking maybe they're going to put somebody else in. And I agree with you, Kaylee. I've been saying this for months now. I do believe it's going to be Gavin Newsom, but there's not that enthusiasm there for Joe Biden. They can't create it. I think they tried with their Bidenomics play. I think that was their last-ditch effort to try to build back better. That fell flat. And when they realized there wasn't a great response to it, and then you've got cocaine in the White House, you've got Hunter Biden, you've got more House oversight and scandals coming forth for this family, I don't think the enthusiasm is there. And so you can have high-dollar donations all you want to. Is that going to get people out to the polls? I don't think so.
Historically, no.
No, it's not. And Cheryl, look, you go to sleep and you put out this beautiful statement like, yes, we did it, guys. We fundraised and we got 70-something odd million. But then you wake up to the New York Times headline, Biden with sluggish small donations waits for liberal energy to rise. I mean, that's the headline.
Going to be waiting a long time when you've got a 40% approval rating, and that is President Biden right now. Even worse if you look at some polls when it comes to his handling of the economy. Here's what you're going to get in the second term of Joe Biden. You're going to get more regulation. You're going to be paying more in taxes. You're going to be paying higher energy prices, and you're likely going to still be paying higher costs at the grocery store. And that's why those small money donations are not coming into President Biden. They are coming into others, because these are the people that are feeling the kitchen table pain, if you will. I'm telling you, it's always about the economy. It's about wallet issues. It's really going to be about that, I think, in 24. And that is why those people under the scourge of inflation right now are not coming in. They are not going for Joe Biden, because he's the one that has pushed this inflation to where it is right now, in particular with the billions of dollars, trillions that they've thrown out in stimulus. Well, this is why the country's in the shape it is. Bidenomics, okay.
What I hear you saying, though, ironically, is that Bidenomics has handed him a deficit of voter support.
Yes, right? Absolutely.
I mean, but financially, they couldn't donate much if they wanted to, because they're spending it on other things like eating.
And Anna Wintour's not really worried right now about if she's going to be able to feed herself and her family at the next meal, but most average Americans are.
Jason, so this just in that I'm looking at, we were talking about this anemic campaign for staffers. It was peculiar to me. They're saying we want to stay slim, let the Republicans spend all their money. We'll stay in the waiting until next year, end of the year. However, this just comes in. Team Biden-Harris announces additional campaign leadership. They're announcing additional leadership, and then they have 3 new names. Cedric Richmond will be on the team, Rufus Gifford, Chris Corge. So these are basically finance chairs. So they are, seems like, beefing up a little bit, maybe taking away some of the speculation that there's a Gavin Newsom in the waiting if they're actually going to build up.
I think more of the effort is going to the DNC to make sure that their coffers are fully funded, that they're going to have for the Democratic Party. And by the way, switching gears just a little bit, on the Republican side, I think one of the biggest surprises out there is Tim Scott, running a frugal campaign, doing well in the polls, and has a lot of cash on hand. That's got to be appealing for a lot of people.
And he can stay in. He can stay into the long haul. Yeah, with that kind of cash.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.